we're going to give you actual truth and facts. And you can disagree with the opinions. And what's so frustrating about all this COVID data, Buck, the CDC has now come out, and they have told unvaccinated people that they should not be traveling over Labor Day weekend. Now, this is pure madness because as we continue to talk about on this show, many of those unvaccinated people, I'm in this camp, you used to be in this camp before your brother's wedding, have already had COVID, which
well, no,
Israeli
I'm still in
data,
that. I definitely had COVID.
Yeah.
I did.
But you're not unvaccinated anymore.
Right.
Because you also have gotten vaccinated because you got pressured into it in order to be able to go to your brother's wedding. But the data out of Israel suggests that up to 27 times as much protection for people who have had COVID, who have natural immunity as opposed to vaccinated immunity. But these people just continue to lie and no one calls them on it. And it's spreading, right? And this is what you were talking about with Kristi Noem. This is why we want red states to draw the line and try to protect our freedoms as much as they can, because Pennsylvania, which decided the presidential election in 2016, which decided the presidential election really probably in 2020, Governor Wolf of Pennsylvania has now stepped forward and he has put in a statewide school mask mandate for students and staff K through 12. The power grab is not stopping. Play cut 18.
Wearing a mask in school is necessary to keep our children in the classroom and to keep COVID out of that classroom. So to that end, the Department of Health is directing all early learning and child care and K through 12 private and public schools across the country, across the state, to require students and staff to wear masks when they're indoors.
Now, Clay, we're talking about trying to protect people's individual freedoms and liberties, and how if you just sit around and hope that it'll happen, you're going to keep losing, which is what we have been seeing over the course of COVID. Notice how it's for private schools, too, right? Yeah. Private entities. This is the state saying you must wear a mask. If the state can say you must wear a mask, I can assure everybody listening, the state can and will also say you must get the shot. Remember, they're looking still for, I believe, the final tranche of approval data for the FDA to say that this is fine for kids, right? This is where we are heading right now. And so that's why to say, oh, it's about individual freedom choice. No, I mean, we have a First Amendment to the Constitution, for example, about the free exercise of religion that is above and beyond what the state or what the federal government or what the local government is allowed to infringe upon, right? There are some things that actually go beyond just separation of powers and arguments between plenary power and what the federal government can do. And when you're talking about forced vaccine mandates on people across the country, that's where people have to actually be able to, that's where those in power need to take a stand, or else you're just waiting for what variety of mandate puts the needle in your arm. And I said, as I sit here in New York, I had someone walk up to me in a coffee shop yesterday. I had sat down. Empty, Clay. And I don't mean empty like not a lot of people. I was the only person there. I was sitting there, having a little caffeine before I go do my TV show for the first after this. And the one clerk in the place who was 30 feet away came over and said, I didn't have a mask on, of course. I know I already sold to you. I'm so sorry, but you can't sit there unless you present your ID and a vaccine card. This is the country that if you live in New York City, and I think soon to be some other cities as well, we are living in.
It is pure madness, and it is not getting less mad, right? For a lot of you out there, I think you've been expecting that sanity is going to return, but just remember where we've gone since May. In May, the CDC said nobody who's vaccinated needs to wear a mask, indoors or outdoors. In that same time frame, Dr. Fauci said, and Joe Biden said, if we get 70% of people vaccinated by July 4th, we'll be great. Buck, we've got almost 75% of adults vaccinated now in this country, 18 and up. 74% is the most recent number that I have seen having gotten at least one shot. And what's happened? Our freedoms are disappearing. Many states are moving back in the direction of actual lockdowns. And I feel like the only way, I mean, I want people in California to listen to me carefully here. I feel like if you are in California right now and you are listening to us, which a huge number of you are, you need to try and recall Gavin Newsom with every fiber of your being. You need to get people on the phone who you haven't talked to in a long time. And we need all these moms out there to lead the revolution because, Buck, until there is a significant consequence politically for all of these draconian measures, and until Democrats have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, are we finally losing after 18 months the majority of our support? I don't think anything's going to change. And so maybe it's just irrational, but I'm hoping California could flip the script for us.
You are being told right now, everyone, if you are unvaccinated, you are being told by the CDC officially, do not travel this weekend.
Yes.
Now, I understand that people can just say to this, oh, but Buck, that's just, the guidance, as Fauci would say, right? That's just it's a suggestion. Look at their suggestions for the last now 18 months. It's going to be 2 years of this madness before we can blink an eye here. I mean, it's just going to come up. That's where we're going to be. We're still going to be in the middle of this craziness 2 years in, which if you had told somebody that, I think in March of 2020, they would have said
15 days to stop the spread.
They would have said absolutely not. They're saying right now, don't travel. What do you think if we have continued spread? And note that the spread is now in a bunch of blue states, too,
yes,
with higher than average vaccination rates. So what's going on there? Why was Florida and Texas a 5-alarm fire a week ago, but Oregon and Washington State, the Pacific Northwest, Hawaii, some of these other states with, in some cases, all-time high caseload?
That's right.
They don't get the same degree of attention, and not just attention, scorn from the national media. We all know why. The CDC asking you, quote, asking you not to travel this weekend shows you if you're unvaccinated, shows you the mentality which is going to transform going into this winter into the CDC now recommends unvaccinated people not travel, which then will turn into the Biden administration saying vaccine passports for air travel.
Which I'm afraid of.
This is the progression. And, this is why if we don't have some states that take action now to protect people from having to do this, if you just wait until the progressives with their incrementalism and their obsession with controlling you can find a mechanism to do it, it's just a matter of time. You can take out your watch now because eventually they're going to force you. Even if you've had COVID, there's no medical necessity for you to get. They're going to force you to get the shot anyway. I'm telling you, it's coming.
That's why we need people in California, Buck. You are right now the front line because I do think Gavin Newsom getting recalled would be a holy crap moment for Democrats to lose in a state like California.